whenever I want to. It's a free country, you goofball.
Wah. Wah.
I thought you were gonna knock my teeth out if I recorded you.
Wah.
Come on, dude, you little massive liar.
Wah. Welcome to the stream. I got a doozy for you. It's not going to really do much with the flat earth, I don't think. First, we're going to start off looking at Nathan Thompson losing his mind. And then we're going to move into how this image that he uses in all of his videos is actually completely wrong. Along with all the other people out there who use red pill iconography on their channel. Because the real ending to the Matrix was discovered a while back. And not a lot of people heard about it, I guess, even though the video has, what, 10 million views? So let's get into this because, dude, it gets crazy. First off, he's got several videos of himself harassing people. He lost his Instagram for uploading these videos. I think he's going to lose his Facebook for doing it too. I'm not sure. He talks about how they're going to pull it from YouTube. He could just be playing games there. But then he talks about how he received a massive backlash in his own Facebook group because they say, yes, you're harassing these poor people. And I'll explain why as we go. So let's take a look at what's going on. But there's one thing that's for sure. This dude is losing his damn mind.
Stealing everyone's money? You guys are lying and stealing from people. Oh, poor baby. Cry me a river, thief. Cry me a river, thief. Scientifically illiterate thief. Have a nice day.
A lot of projecting going on already.
Just a heads up.
Just so you know, I didn't add the clapping. I didn't add the clapping in. He did that. He thought that he deserved a clap track right there.
This video was already removed from Instagram. So before it gets removed from YouTube, I highly recommend take it from my channel, share it, mirror it, blast it far and wide. You have my permission.
Will do. Official flat earth and globe lying. Got it.
All right, this video is going to...
Okay, here it is. In every one of his recent videos, this is what you see. He's really lost his mind, dude. Like, hardcore. So I'm going to go ahead and spoil the second part of the video. Feel free to ask any questions and I will fill them in. I released this a little earlier than I planned due to the Matrix trilogy on TV. I will start with the facts and build a case around them. 1. Neo is not human. Neo is a version of the One program. Zion exists in a metaphysical world called the Machine World. 3. The Matrix trilogy is a Greek tragedy about machines striving for perfection. I think they might be wrong there. I don't know. We'll see. So here it is. Let me give you my version. So I can prove to you tonight that the Matrix movies have been criticized. The first one was criticized as one of the greatest movies ever. The second one was criticized as too much fight scenes and not enough substance to the film with a lot of mistakes in it. And the third Matrix movie was criticized as overly philosophical while applying to nothing that was going on. And everybody did this on all the websites, on all the reviews. Everybody talked bad about the Matrix. They said that they ruined the Matrix until some videos were made after a Reddit post. I think it was a few years ago, 2 or 3 years ago or so. People rewatched the Matrix trilogy once it went onto television, and they were replaying it a lot, and it was getting a lot of people were watching it, and it was getting popular again. And somebody sat down and actually figured out the real Matrix movie ending and meaning. And it turns out once you know the truth, because you make so many assumptions when you watch the Matrix, and by the end of it, you think they messed this movie up, dude. They ruined the second and third movie, man. If you watched and find out what the real ending is, and you're going to hear it in just a little bit, every piece of it broken down perfectly. If you know, when you go back and watch the movies again, you figure out that, oh my God, they didn't mess it up. It's great. They did exactly what they meant to do. They meant to kind of disillusion the viewer a little bit, so the viewer didn't really understand. They thought viewers would get it after a few watches, but it really didn't pick up into society until many years later. Ironic, right? There will be a lot of ironies tonight. Because in that iconography where Nathan Thompson is holding out these two pills, one blue and one red, he's doing it because in the movie The Matrix, Neo takes the red one, which wakes him up to the harsh reality that his entire life has been a dream, plugged in a dream-like state where he's plugged into a computer, an AI. So everything wasn't real. And the new world that he's in is a real world, and he's actually having to fight these machines and do the whole Matrix movie thing. But once you know the real ending of The Matrix and you go back and remember the red pill from the first movie in the beginning, you realize that the red pill actually was a deception, it was a diversion, and it was a lie the whole time. It was truly a piece of propaganda to distract Neo so that they could set the stage for the real protagonist, or the real, I won't call him a hero or a good guy, but the real thing to do what he needed to do to allow for the Matrix to keep existing. That was the whole purpose of it. It was laid out perfectly, and everything fell into place exactly how they wanted it. No one noticed, though. The really weird thing is, years later on YouTube, people who understood the Matrix originally started to use the term red pill as waking up, or realizing some kind of truth in society and waking up to the fact that things are really different and much harsher than they really seem. But in all reality, on YouTube, it quickly turned in to these red pills being used for propaganda and for politics and for other things. So in the biggest form of irony, as you will see tonight by the end of the video, many people on YouTube use that red pill completely wrong. And it's not a maybe, and it's not a theory. I've got the proof. And one person who uses this red pill wrong more than anyone else is on my screen right there, Nathan frickin' Thompson. That's what I call him. I just call him Nathan frickin' Thompson.
To really trigger the shape-shifting space monkey ballers. So before you have an emotional knee-jerk reaction, please make sure you like, share, and subscribe to this channel and hit that bell notification.
No, we won't. And never donate to these. Never. And you're about to find out why. Never. Fair use article in the description, but I don't need the fair use article. It turns out he gives everybody permission to share all of his videos before they get yanked, is what he says. I think he only says that because he feels this whole thing is filled up with pay links.
Dude, we're so woke now.
You're so woke now. Just wait until you get woke with what I'm about to show you. Nathan, it's a perfectly good ice cream cone. Stop holding it out into the sun. Quit holding it out in the heat. Space is fake AF. No, it's not, and that's a horrible song. It's not a good song, even if you change the lyrics. It's a really bad song. Nobody wants to hear this.
Well, let's do it. I'm recording this guy. He said he was going to assault me and knock my teeth out if I started recording him.
Well, I don't think you wanted to be recorded. Pardon me. I know. I'm crazy. I'm a space monkey baller, or whatever he calls me, but you know what? Someone came and told me that he got drunk the other night and went on this tirade about Unirock. That guy. Like, I guess a couple weeks ago or something, he got drunk as hell and live streamed and went on a huge tirade about Unirock. It just so happens that that coincides with the last video I did about the guy. I hope he did. I hope he did. Anyway, I don't think this guy wants to be recorded, Nathan. You know, most people want to be courteous and say, okay, and walk away. What do you do, though?
So I got my dog with me. You want to attack me? You want to attack me?
No, he said he was going to attack you if you recorded him. That's what he said. You didn't have to pull out your camera and start recording right there. I really don't see any good reason. But if you look here, you see why he did it. He's got a NASA sticker. So he is labeling this guy a NASA employee tries to knock him out. Now, here's the problem. The last time that he did this in a Starbucks, if you remember years ago, Thompson did this in a Starbucks and he harassed a NASA employee that was on break and going to Starbucks to get a coffee. It just so happened that that person admitted to be a NASA employee. Well, the problem here, Nathan, this guy doesn't admit that. So, you know, he could be a contractor. If that sticker is a sticker that gets him, like, close to a NASA facility, it could just be that he is a contractor or that he had to have a sticker to get on the base to visit somebody. Doesn't mean he's a NASA employee. I think you're lying. You're going to have to prove that he's a NASA employee. Maybe it's in the video. Maybe I haven't seen it yet. Let's keep going.
Go ahead.
Okay, do we have any proof, or are we supposed to just flat earth believe you? I don't know what the NBL is, so.
Okay, so I asked him, how do you prove large by his water curve? And
it doesn't look like he wants to talk at all, one. He doesn't want to be recorded at all, two. And he doesn't want to talk to you, which by, you know, all like assumptions of free speech, he doesn't have to. You can't force him to. You really shouldn't be forcing the guy to be recorded if he doesn't want to be recorded. It's just a dick move.
And he goes, physics and science. So, Mr. Natural Buoyancy Laboratory.
Well, he's right. He can prove the globe with physics and science. You have yet to produce a model that has not been directly and quickly debunked. You've tried. And did you guys know, thanks to Blue Marble, and I think Simon Dan and Conspiracy Cats talked about it, and Team Skeptic, but I'm not sure. But I saw it on Blue Marble Science. He did this great video where he shows that the flat earthers are so desperate to have people believe him, they're trying to say that Google Earth is their model. Well, the problem with that is it's based on I think it's called a geoid. You'd have to watch Blue Marble Science for it, but it's based on a globe. In all respects, every number, every graph, everything on Google Earth is based off of a globe.
What physics, what science are you talking about?
Watch him try to bully me. Well, see, this is the thing, Nathan. You're so used to trying to propagandize people with lies about the shape of the earth that now that whole act has bled into you trying to convince people about your lies on who's bullying who. The guy walked out of a grocery store, put his groceries away. He wants to push the cart where you're standing. You're in the way. He doesn't want to go in between those cars and have to try not to hit other cars. He wants to push his cart back and put it away, and you are stopping him. And he politely asks you to get out of his way, and you tell him, well, let's see. But he's not bullying you. He's not trying to bully you. In no way, shape, or form can you determine that from this. We definitely can see that you're trying to bully him, though.
Dude, get out of my way.
I'm not in your way. You can go that way. You can go backwards.
Well, see, the problem is if he goes that way, he might bump someone's car. Right where you're standing, you're blocking him the ability to go near the actual bumpers. So if he does bump a car, it won't scratch the paint and he won't do any damage. But also, you're in the way, dum-dum.
Screw you, dude. Stop stealing people's money.
Okay.
So one of his biggest contentions is that this guy is stealing money. So we're going to take a little bit of a test really quick. What's the best way to do this? Give me that same song, Busy. I really like it. Let's say that Nathan Thompson is correct on all of his conspiracy theories about NASA and the shape of the Earth. This guy grows up, he goes to high school, he gets out, goes to college, and gets a job at NASA. Do you think that the basic workers at NASA, I mean, you guys, what am I talking about? Nathan Thompson says it himself. Everybody says, it's impossible that the earth is flat because everybody would be in on the conspiracy. And Nathan Thompson responds with, that's not true. Only the top people would have to be. By your own repeated logic, this guy has no knowledge of the conspiracy. To him, he thinks he's doing a service to his country. He thinks he's doing a service to his family, working a good job, living a good life. How is he stealing any money when he has no knowledge of anything that's going on in this conspiracy? That's assuming that your conspiracy is completely true from the bottom up. But we know that your conspiracy is not true in any way, shape, or form. So who's in the wrong? Is it who you are accusing here with no evidence and with no logic, even if we give you like every single bit we can? I think you're in the wrong here, big guy.
Okay?
Stop fucking talking to me, dude.
I can talk to whoever I want to. It's a free country, you goof.
Well, not really. See, look, here's how it works. If they don't want to talk to you, you aren't like able to just continue screaming at them and following them. You could stand still and try to talk to them, and if they don't leave, then they'll have to listen. But you definitely shouldn't be following them around and screaming. That's against the law. You could get a misdemeanor for that. I forget what was it? Disorderly or something or whatever. Not drunk and disorderly, even though he probably is either drunk or withdrawing or something to act like this, but you get what I'm saying, right? He's verbally raping him, says Davros. Well, we need to go arrest him then, and he needs to be charged for verbal rapeonomics.
Ball, lying, stealing thief. I thought you were.
Well, first off, you calling him a thief is one thing, but calling him a goofball, now you're definitely bullying him. Even if you wanted to argue you weren't a few minutes ago, now you're definitely bullying the guy. I don't know why.
My teeth out if I recorded you. Come on, dude, you little NASA liar.
Now, you realize that you are recording yourself following him as he walks away from you. You are now, and have been the whole time, the aggressor. You are just being disruptive, disorderly. By all means, I don't know why this guy didn't just either do what he said he was going to do or just call the cops. Get me? You can't just follow people around screaming at him. It's against the law.
Stealing everyone's money, acting tough. Be tough, dude. You're a joke. Everyone knows you're a joke. We got 125,000 people in the group.
You guys realize what just happened there, right? Here, watch this part really quick one more time.
Money, acting tough. Be tough, dude.
Okay, so what you just heard was, instead of going out on the internet and downloading a censorship beep, you know, like beep, instead of doing that, he puts a little tiny, like, pardon the language on the screen and records himself going beep and then uses that. I just find it hilarious. I'm weird, though. I'm just strange.
Dude, you're a joke. Everyone knows you're a joke.
Beep.
We got 125,000 people in the group that know NASA's a joke. You guys.
Well, you guys believe that NASA's a joke. You've never been able to prove it, one. And two, I still can't get over the beep. That thing, I just want to keep saying beep when you talk now. If I ever interview you, I'm just going to say beep the whole time.
You guys are lying and stealing from people, okay? So let me get out of your way.
Oh, yeah. Now, Thompson, I'm sorry to say, you're if he was to cold cock you here, I'm not saying he should. I don't think he definitely should. I'm just saying if he did, I don't think he would get in any trouble because you are being an aggressor. You're definitely like moving very close to him and cocking your head out and screaming. Yeah, dude. I think what Thompson's doing, he's had really low views for a while because everybody on YouTube has, even big channels that normally get like 100,000, they've been getting less because of the time of year it is. It's really nice outside and people aren't watching as much YouTube. It happens all year long. There's little tiny waves that go by. So I think that because his views are down, he's getting so desperate, he wants people to believe he's confronting NASA employees. That's what made him go viral once. The only time he ever went viral. So he wants people to believe he's doing that. And then he thinks that also, if that doesn't get him the views, if he can get one of these guys to punch him, that'll get him the views. That's what's going on here. He's literally trying to instigate it.
Hey, crybaby. Have a nice day. Okay? Enjoy your money you steal from people. Oh, poor baby.
Now, you notice how he censored out one F-bomb but left the other F-bomb in there? Anyway. I just wanted to bring that up.
Cry me a river, thief.
Who's the one crying though? I would do a vote. Like if I didn't want this to be, if I was trying not to make this a shorter stream, I would do a vote right now and ask who the baby is. But if you want to just type who you think the baby is in this situation, let us know.
Scientifically illiterate thief. Have a nice day.
You're
Then
projecting.
This guy wouldn't leave, and he tried to follow me home. I had to ditch him in my car.
Okay, so let's see. First off, we want to make sure that Thompson's telling the truth. We've already caught him in a lot of lies up to now. So let's make sure he's being honest, because he's trying to build a narrative. We all know he's really good at that. So is he building a narrative with that statement or not? He tried to follow you home, and you had to ditch him in your car. Let's see.
Well, Texas is a one-party state. So.
Now, hold on. You were just standing up against the store. You were literally at the entrance of the store when we last saw you. So you have purposely cut out some event that took you right next to his vehicle. It looks like you're facing away from the store, but pointing the camera. You and the camera facing away from the store, and the store's behind you now. So it looks to me like he's still parked. He didn't follow you anywhere, and you walked up and just turned the camera around so that he could see your face, and you get me? I don't know if you're going to convince me of that. Let's see, though, if he follows him and tries to stalk him, and then Nathan Thompson has to ditch him in a car, though.
So, I can record you legally. You're in public. You're already being recorded. There's cameras everywhere.
You're personally recording me.
Well, do you not get what that means, Thompson? Basically, if you go into Walmart with the camera, they're going to kick you out. One. They're going to tell you can't go around and record their customers. By going onto Walmart's property being private, they get to determine whether they record or not, and you get to determine whether you enter that property or not, and then by entering the property knowing you're being recorded, you're consenting to being recorded by them. Has nothing to do with you. I don't know where you're at. I don't know if it's a two-party state. I don't know if it's not. I just know that there is an argument to be made that since you're on private property, you can't be filming at all because they don't allow you to film at Walmart now. They kick you out for it.
Yeah, of course. So, yeah, I am.
Even in the parking lot.
All right, then. Have a nice day.
Cool. Let's walk around this natural buoyancy laboratory employee's car.
Check out the NASA logo.
Okay, so he said, let's walk around this natural buoyancy laboratory employee's car. Okay, so I guess that he must be working at the Natural Buoyancy Laboratory. I guess he's assuming it's part of NASA. I don't know if it is or not. It could be. I'm just saying I don't know. I think, though, you're finding out why this happens with Nathan Thompson, and now we know what happened when he went viral the first time. I think he goes to public places and he scans he's driving around in his car stalking NASA employees. That's what I honestly think's going on. And I'm sorry, Nathan Thompson, but you did this. You're the one behaving this way with repeated videos. I'm about to show you even more videos that are exactly like this one from the last couple weeks. So it's not an isolated incident from years ago to now to this video. But anyway, I think he goes and finds stickers of NASA on people's cars because typically NASA employees slap a sticker on their car and they're proud to work there. And I think he goes and walks around and starts questioning people, hoping that he gets to, you get me, to have this confrontation. I don't think this guy answered him. What I mean is, if he asked, do you work at the National Buoyancy Laboratory, or does your father, does the owner of the car, does your wife? I don't think he asked. I think he's assuming that he does just because of the stickers, and then he's clickbaiting the living hell out of that to try to mimic the virality of the first video. Anyway, let's see.
Who won't leave me alone.
Won't leave you alone. Won't leave you alone. Really.
Okay? Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Look.
He won't leave you alone? He won't. You just walked up to his passenger window and stuck a freaking camera up to him. That's called you not leaving him alone, you dummy.
Look at this guy, dude.
What's he doing?
Well, that's the video.
Oh, neutral? Oh, I thought he said natural. Okay, Neutral Buoyancy Laboratory. Okay, got it.
Hope you enjoy.
See, I don't know. I don't know, and I don't care, so. Okay, so once again, I'm not just doing this to make fun of Nathan Thompson, even though that is part of the video. I'm also doing this because I want you to try to count how many times you see that, or at least keep track of it in your head. There is a really, 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 really good reason why I'm showing you certain videos from him, and him dressing himself up and standing there and taking a picture so that he can do this whole... Actually, that's not what he did. He just took his face and photoshopped it on because those aren't his hands. Those are freaking Morpheus's hands. Those aren't your hands, Nathan Thompson. You didn't even dress up for this or anything. You just took your dumb face and put it on his body. And put two Photoshop filters over it. I could probably name the filters if I took enough time to look at it closer. One of them's definitely a cutout filter. Anyway, that's what he did. But I want you to count how many times in your head that he uses this image that he's made, and then I want to tell you something about this image in just a little bit.
I just want to add, I cannot believe the response I've been getting on Facebook. People are saying that this is harassment.
Yes, you are harassing him. By sheer definition, you are harassing him. Yes. Just the last shot proves it. We could go back and do. I'm not going to. It's a waste of time. And we could just step by step show everything that he did to try to avoid you and leave you and get you to leave and stop recording him, stop talking to him. But we heard none of that from you. In fact, you continued the confrontation so much. You're lucky you're not having to go to court on this one because you'd lose in a second. I think he's got even more footage here. I don't know what it is. We'll let him talk for another second.
This organization, NASA, steals $50 million a day and
we need you to please prove it with actual hard fact, not any type of conspiracy fact, not any type of flat earth fact. We need hard fact and you to prove these statements because you've been doing this for years. You realize you've hit that critical mass where even your own viewers realize how long you've been doing this and they're like, yeah, he hasn't proved anything, but he claims it every single day. This is just because they're not using cords or cables to send this signal. In fact, you could mimic this happening in many situations if you try to send a television signal through either microwaves or radio waves or whatever they're using. So this doesn't prove anything, dude. You know it doesn't. You just know if you build up enough pieces, you might convince some very schizophrenic people to believe your conspiracy, just like the others I've shown you, like Jaronism, Bob, and Oakley. You're using these tactics, these propaganda tactics, to try to gain viewers, subscribers, and donators from people who are too weak-willed or weak-minded or too busy to care, who get or just like this type of content. It's easy. It's so much easier to prove that you guys are lying than try to prove any of the claims you make.
promote a cosmology that is a lie, and they're lying to little kids. On top of that, that gentleman threatened to punch me in the mouth.
Have you stopped to look in the mirror and ask yourself, did he threaten to punch you because he felt like you were instigating a confrontation with him, or maybe recording him when he didn't want to be recorded, or kept yelling at him after he politely asked you to not talk to him? Yeah, I think that no one's going to get mad at that guy. This is a complete, like, let's say, victim mentality here. Hey, if I just prove that I'm the victim of this guy threatening to punch me, then everything I did is excused, and I can throw my conspiracy stuff out there, and people will believe it. And I'm starting to think this is a pattern from you, dude, and I'll show you why in a little bit. But
For a totally lawful behavior. And
your behavior is provably unlawful. I don't even know why you'd state that. You know it's not, dude.
And I'm the one harassing him?
Yes, 150%.
The Bible says people who mislead children should...
So this is the last part of this video I'm going to play, but it's the best part. Take a listen to this. The Bible says...
him? The Bible says people who mislead children should tie a giant stone around their neck and jump in a lake. So I think filming them and asking questions is a lot nicer than saying, you should kill yourself.
So you're trying to not only use the Bible to justify your atrocious social behavior here, you're also trying to play the victim and to try and accumulate all these things for donations. Pretty messed up, dude.
Thanks for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. See you next.
No. I'm going to share it by criticizing the living hell out of it, but I'm not going to do those other two things. So we're going to jump over to this, and then we're going to go into how he's so wrong about the red pill. How every truther is so wrong about the red pill. Provably, factually wrong about it. And they have exposed a bitter irony in using the red pill. We'll get to that in a minute. Because first we're going to go to flat smacking. Christian with NASA shirt gets questions answered. He didn't ask you these questions. He didn't accept the answers you gave to the questions you forced on him. So I don't necessarily think that this title, again, is even legit in any way. But let's see what happens.
So I'm walking into the grocery store yesterday, and I see this
Whoa.
gentleman wearing a NASA shirt.
Wait a minute. That's not the same grocery store, is it? It is the same grocery store. So do you think maybe he's found a grocery store that's in close proximity to where NASA workers and NASA enthusiasts, NASA people, NASA workers with kids may congregate? What? Training center, maybe that lab he was talking about, and who knows, but seems like he's choosing this area for a pretty good reason.
Shirt, and I felt inspired to turn on my camera, tell him about Flat Earth, and
lie to him.
record the interaction. Here's that video. Please like.
By the way, you notice how he is once again dressed himself up like Morpheus. In one hand, the lie, and in one hand, the other lie. Don't worry, we're going to go into that in a second.
Like, share, and subscribe, and shout out to everyone who supports the channel.
Dude, we're so woke now.
Space is fake AF.
Question.
Yep.
Not trying to like piss you off or trigger you.
All right.
You ever met a flat earther?
I have not. Well, actually, one of my friends is flat Earth,
Yeah.
but I haven't really talked to him about it.
So I got the nope. You got the NASA.
I know. I saw that. If you want to get a pic, I mean.
Well, I want to take a video because I like. Why do you wear a NASA shirt if you know about flat Earth? I know you're not a flat earther.
I'm not a flat earther.
But
It's because I was in.
Because most people know that the flat earth theory is a complete propaganda lie perpetrated by the creators that make money off of it. And so when they realize that how stupid it is and literally how much cognitive dissonance and Dunning-Kruger it takes to be able to even go wading into the waters of this flat earth crap, they still support NASA after realizing that, Thompson. It's pretty simple to get this, dude.
In a Squadron 17 in the Corps Cadets, and
Really?
they honor the 7 astronauts that passed away.
Okay, so this one is really bad. So that's why I'm going to jump to this video, obviously. So he found a kid that is saying he's wearing his NASA shirt to honor the 7 astronauts that passed away during the Challenger mission. Wait till you hear what Thompson says. Wait till you hear me debunk Thompson, and then think about this. Thompson's trying to bring up how these 7 people died and use it as saying it's a lie and that they're still alive. Imagine this interaction from the perspective of reality, what you can prove, and once you see that Nathan Thompson is basically just fooled by a conspiracy, he's a crazy old guy approaching a kid who is wearing a shirt to honor 7 people who died in a tragedy. I think you could sum it up that way, right? We'll take a listen to how this interaction goes.
The Challenger mission. That's why I was in that shirt.
yeah. So what if I told you all those astronauts are still alive?
He says, what if I told you all those astronauts are still alive? Now, I'm going to debunk this stupid conspiracy in a moment, but I'll let him talk for a second before I do.
And that nobody actually died, and that you were honoring a false flag.
I would think you're crazy. But
Right on.
Man, you have a good head on your shoulders. You are right there, buddy, because he is crazy, and you got it.
Well, they all have Facebooks. You can look them up. One of them's a Yale professor, and a lot of them didn't even change their name.
He's lying to you, but keep going.
So I could send you a picture of who they were then and who they are now, of 7 out of the 8 or 6 out of the 7 astronauts. I know where they are right now. My friends go confront them where they were. A NASA employee 3 days ago over here at PetSmart said he's going to punch me in the mouth if I started recording him.
I mean, I don't mind if you record me.
Yeah, well, that's cool. We're in public, so
Yeah.
I'll record people if I want to.
Fair enough.
But he said he's going to punch me in my mouth if I did a lawful act, if I just recorded him. So would you agree that is pretty ridiculous? Because it's my right to record in public. Even if you don't want to be...
I would say it's ridiculous they're just trying to punch you in the face.
Yeah, I agree. So I got upset with him. The video's on my YouTube if you want to check it out. NASA is lying about space.
Okay, so before I get too much further, there's a dumb conspiracy that trended on YouTube, like many have, that say the Challenger pilots, I don't know, you remember they got a teacher in the Challenger for the first time, this big thing. Now, if you go back, they recorded pretty much everything that went on that day. Everyone saw them get into the rocket, and they recorded the rocket exploding. It's a factual thing. It's a tragedy that happened, and it's really messed up that Thompson is going there. But if you need to prove it to yourself, you can just type debunked. Last time I looked, they had already shown that the flat earthers were confusing a few people's kids and a few people that looked like these other people as them. Now, anyone can make a Facebook profile, and that's why using that as an explanation is so dumb. They have Facebook profiles. Okay, so what's stopping somebody from going and creating a profile for them and then never logging into it again or just playing like they're that person? That's not evidence, buddy. But you get what I'm saying there. I could pull the whole thing up. I may not, but I'll let him. I will go through this before I decide what to do. Just know, if you want, before you get yourself caught up in that stupid conspiracy, actually type for that conspiracy debunked and have somebody explain with facts what it is, because it's fake and it's debunked.
And I'll just ask you one question. I'll let you get going. I know you probably got cold food. And you've been super cool.
Car checked out.
You've been super cool. The only
So he's super cool because he wanted to talk to you. The other guy wasn't super cool because he asked you not to record him. Okay.
barrier from the truth is the preconceived notion you already have. So if you think 2 + 2 is 5, and I say it's 4, but you know it's 5, then you'll never believe it's 4, right? Believe it's 4, even though it is 4. So what I'm here to say is that NASA's taking space because you can't have gas pressure without a container.
Well, actually, you've just been watching too much Nathan Oakley. You can have gas pressure without a container. If you're talking about our atmosphere, space next to our atmosphere, and how the world works, if you guys really wanted to prove this dome or this container or anything about what you're saying, you would have done it by now. The reason why you spend your time out walking around finding NASA employees and stalking them so that you can record content for YouTube so you can make money is because people give you money when you do it. And the reason that Oakley is continually doing his show, muting people and not allowing people to fully explain how wrong he really is about the things he talks about is because there are people out there who will give him money also. And this whole thing is rooted in the fact that if the earth is flat, they can just easily say, hey, the Bible must be right, and there's a God. It basically takes all believing in a God or it brings that scary thought process into play, and I just think these guys can't mentally handle it. And the people that give them money want that to be true so bad. An easy explanation for why God exists, that they're willing to fund these guys in their zany, crazy, mentally devoid adventures.
So the sky can't be a vacuum because the atmosphere is pressurized. The second law of thermodynamics is entropy.
Well, you don't understand entropy. That's one major problem here. You don't know what it means. You're not using it correctly if you're talking about how Oakley describes it and quantum eraser. That's how he says it, sorry. But you get what I'm saying there. You don't understand the second law, because if the second law disproved the atmosphere, then the second law would be corrected and rewritten and more testing would be done, and it wouldn't have stayed there for this entire time and be used like it is. You've started with a determination that you don't want there to be an open atmosphere next to space, and therefore have ignored all explanations and all testing and all evidence so that you could go around using this as a way to attempt to prove it. Why? Because it worked on YouTube for a few people.
So if you put your hand on a hot stove, the heat moves to your hand. If you put gas pressure next to a vacuum, the gas pressure moves into the vacuum. That's just common sense. So to think that the sky is connected to a vacuum, but with no barrier.
Why is that so hard to grasp, Thompson? We're talking about enormous forces, enormous amounts of air. We're talking about, we're talking about things that you need to really understand fundamentals before you can move up to understanding the more advanced parts of the second law, or the more advanced parts about how the atmosphere works, weather system, all these things, right? Why are you not trying to fundamentally understand what comes before all that, trying to learn up to that point, and yet stating that you can debunk the second law of thermodynamics and the idea of an atmosphere next to without a barrier? Really, dude, the hand is tipping too much, right? It's been doing this across the flat earth community, something I predicted and told you would happen with the breakdown after that documentary, Behind the Curve. I told you how it kind of exposed the idiocy of all these guys. It took them out of there where they got to record themselves. They got to cut chunks out of their experiments. They got to kind of fudge numbers and fudge data and not have anyone check them. The entire world was exposed to how these guys really operate when the documentary film crew actually filmed them, showed how they really do their experiments, what really happens when they do them, and, you know, puts it out there in the open in a way that isn't protected by you and your propaganda. Well, that's just what I call it. I'll just say your tactics instead of propaganda. Anyway, you got to drop this shit, bro. It's gone too far. It's too far exposed. It's too far out there. It's turning you angry and mad, and Bob is, and Jaron is, all these. Nathan Oakley's been straight mad for years now. You know what I'm saying? It's gotten to that crisis point.
So how do you think the Earth is flat?
Well, there's no measurable convexity. Have you?
Yes, there. Listen, the curve is measurable. If you don't confuse drop for curve and you actually sit down and have somebody, the problem is the model does work and it does calculate how much of a mountain you'll see. It does calculate how much of a building you'll see, why the bottom is what is missing and not the entire thing. And there are explanations for every piece of it within the model that we have of science that you are denying. You got me? So you can't do this without the data. You can't make this assumption when you have nothing before it. That's where you're losing people. That's where this kid's going to go back. He's going to get on the internet. He's going to look around for a minute. He's going to be like, damn, these guys, this guy I just met literally is crazy because he watched a bunch of videos.
Have you heard of hydrostatics?
No.
Okay, it's the property.
Science is my least favorite subject, so
It's
I
all
really
good.
don't know jack.
Well, that's like, I mean, Oakley just feels like he hit pay dirt there. He's like, great, if this guy doesn't know science, I might be able to get him to watch my YouTube videos.
It's all good. Well,
I just
what
know
they teach
I
in school.
fly in a lot of airplanes,
Yeah.
and I mean they end up in the same place, right?
Yeah, I know. You can fly over a flat Earth too. The FAA trained.
How? How can you? Why is it that we all can't fly if there's no gravity? How is it that the plane flies if it's buoyancy? You still haven't even explained that.
pilots on what's called a target generation facility. Have you heard of a target? It's a software, most expensive software in the world for Earth. It's a flat Earth that doesn't move. Now, if you get in an airplane and you fly east, is it faster than flying west? No, it takes the same amount of time. I mean, there's a difference in jet streams and stuff.
The westerlies and the easterlies.
The wind.
Yeah, the wind.
But we're not incorporating Earth rotation,
Well,
right?
yeah.
Yeah.
But
So
that's because it moves at such a slow rate in comparison.
it doesn't move at all in comparison.
Hold on, he
Sometimes
says it.
there is no wind.
So he says that the Earth moves at 1,000 miles per hour. Well, you're misrepresenting things. It moves at 15 degrees per hour. It's completely different when you look at the scale you're talking about. How many things are you going to misrepresent and get wrong and record so that people can see that you're doing it this way? You know, I don't think he understands why he gets such a negative reaction from YouTube and Facebook. I think this guy is literally crazy. He, in his head, is convinced of one thing that isn't reality, and that's why he's continuing to go out and do this, because these videos are very exposing, in my opinion.
Right? Sometimes there's no wind. So to say that the Earth is that's just mind control. I'm trying to free you from it because I love you, dude.
He's trying to give him a... Could you say that he's trying to give him a red pill? I think you could, right? Well, we're going to get to that in just a second.
I really do. And I've been testing this for 3 years. You asked me why I think it's flat. I've been in over 30 states, testing it in over 9.
I've been in over 18 countries.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, my experience in travel at least, it doesn't make any sense to
Have
me.
you tested the surface of the Earth?
haven't. Ooh, snap.
No.
What do you mean tested the surface of the Earth?
I mean, not traveled, not pretended that that's proof of curvature, because it's not. You got in a plane, the airplane ascended, leveled out, and then descended. And the Earth did not rotate underneath the airplane.
It doesn't rotate underneath the airplane, dum-dum. It doesn't work like that. This is what I mean. You got to go out and actually understand things before you attempt to debunk something.
You already agreed the Earth doesn't rotate under airplanes. When it's said to be moving 1,000 miles an hour.
It's not said to be moving 1,000 miles per hour. You need to actually calculate it differently. If you're going to zoom out so far, like when you look at it rotating at 1,000 miles per hour, you can't look at it rotating like you think. You're looking at it. You're trying to imagine this small little globe rotating at 1,000 miles per hour, and you're spinning it super fast, right? No, it would just spin like really super slow. So, bro, seriously, this kid's going to wise up to what you're saying. I don't think he's that dumb. Let's hope the kid pulls through, though. Who knows? He might catch him up in some propaganda. He might turn him into a flat earther.
Now, if the Earth moves, it can't just drag all the air with it. When I move my
It does. Oh my God! It doesn't drag anything with it. The air is bound by gravity. It's not that hard to understand, dude.
Yeah, but
That's not how
think
fluid
about an
dynamics.
airplane. Like, you're moving pretty fast in an airplane, but it's not like you feel much of the movement.
Because you're in,
you're in it.
the airplane.
We're on the
Well-
Earth, right?
And because you're on the Earth.
We're on the Earth. So being on a
we're
ball that's spinning is not analogous to being in a closed container.
But with the Earth being as big as it is, there's no way you'd feel the movement in reality. You know, like, yes, there's.
What, just because it's big, you wouldn't feel 1,000 miles an hour?
It's not 1,000 miles an hour. It's 15 degrees an hour. Seriously, let's measure it in I don't know, inches or something, but from the perspective of how big it looks, you know, like from your sight. I don't know. There needs to be another way for flat earthers to imagine how the Earth rotates, because it's just wrong.
Who told you that? Who told you that?
Who told you that the Earth spins fast? Because it spins slow as fuck, dude.
Dude, how would that not make sense? If it's moving.
1,000 miles an hour is faster than the speed of sound. You get on a roundabout and you go 5 miles an hour, you feel it. It doesn't matter if the roundabout is going 5 miles an hour and the roundabout is as big as the entire city, or if the roundabout's real small. There's no moving. You would be able to test it. My argument is not, do you feel the Earth move? Nobody feels the Earth move unless you're drunk. My argument is,
You don't feel the Earth move when you're drunk either, buddy.
you can't prove the Earth moves scientifically.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. Scientifically. Do I have to go into it?
There's no test to prove the floor was spinning or
Yes, there is.
blasting through space.
Yes, there is.
It's just mind control.
It's not mind control. You've driven yourself nuts by telling yourself this so much.
I mean, I don't know enough about this subject.
What's your name?
Tanner.
I'm Nathan.
All right.
Can I give you a flyer? I got him in my car.
Uh,
Let me give you
I
one,
don't know,
and you
bro.
go home with it.
He wants to throw it away if you hand it to him. He's not going to keep it. He's not going to frame it. He's not going to ask you to sign it. He's not going to ask for your autograph. He's not going to consider you a celebrity. He doesn't think you're attractive. Leave him alone.
Just take a look at it. I'm gonna grab one for you, Tanner. All right.
Thanks for watching. Love you guys.
Wow, quick update. I just gave Tanner both flyers.
I bet he turned into a flat earther the minute we couldn't hear him talk, right?
And he's a Christian. And I told him, well, your Bible says test all things and hold fast to that which is true. And he says,
And you're not doing that. You're ignoring many things so that you can convince yourself of a narrative.
you're right. It does.
So, guys, service to many leads to greatness. We need to get out there, and sharing is caring. For all you know, you're talking to robots on Facebook and Instagram. They might not even be real people, and
Beep, bop, beep, bop.
you're over there trying to tell them about the characteristics of water and experiments that have been done, and you're not even talking to a real person. So get some flyers in some people's hands, nathanppl@yahoo.com if you need to order them. I love you guys.
Nathan, pee, pee, poo, pee, pee, poo.
Peace.
Thanks for watching, everybody.
Do you see this? This is what you need to see. Are you going to take the red one? Or are you going to take the blue one?
Please share if you enjoyed the video. and I'll see you next
Nathan, beep, 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 beep.
time.
Well, we all believed in that spinning ball. Indoctrination blinded us all. From the very first day that we went to school, they put a globe in your face and that thing looked cool.
No, they didn't put a globe in my face the first day I went to school. So I don't know I don't know what school you went to. Did you go to the first day of kindergarten, put a globe in your face elementary school or something? It didn't happen to me.
The teacher explained how it all worked. Of course, it sounded so berserk, but
it doesn't sound berserk at all if you actually pay attention and you don't spend your time, you know, ignoring everything that they're saying.
But who was I to question it? Because I was just a tiny kid. It sounded crazy as could be, but teacher would never lie to me. She was real nice, she didn't know. She too was taught to believe in that globe. I don't blame her, it wasn't her fault.
No, they don't teach us to believe in the globe. They teach us science. They teach us from the ground up. Anyway, in one way, like with how Nathan Thompson has been brainwashed and propagated into believing this warped out theory about the earth or whatever you want to call it, many other people are conditioned into not accepting facts, not accepting giant chunks of evidence, and ignoring certain things. A lot of people call it red pilling on YouTube. They make sure to only push the side that they want you to see. They never try to debunk themselves. They never try to put other evidence up next to what they're looking at and think about it a little bit. Well, it turns out them using the terminology of the red pill has been wrong the entire time from a specific theory done on Reddit that I believe was picked up by Film Theory on YouTube and kind of warped out, right? Taken to a different place. But I'm going to just give you the quick version. I'm working on a video for this. It's just taken me a while to do it. There's a lot of... I have to watch the movies. I got to think about it. You know, I got to look out on YouTube and see what people say and try to... the best comparison to this is Jordan Sather. If you know, when I bumped into him the first time, I tried to send him a lot of evidence that many of the topics that he talked about were flat wrong and could be disproven with just the tiniest bit of fact-checking. And he ignored me, and for the last 2 years has continued to push that biased side of things that he's pushed, right? He's a good example of how people take the idea of the red pill and the ideology of it waking you up to this harsh reality, and they kind of throw it out there in their YouTube videos as this whole Matrix thing. Well, for those of you that don't know, you need to hear this explanation of the Matrix. Now, there's an issue out there. For those of us that have seen the Matrix, the first movie was great, and you know it was a great movie. It was just excellent. Now, the second and third movies kind of lost their way if you're looking at it with the same kind of idea that you got from the first movie. Everything you assume, everything you think is happening at the end of the first movie goes completely astray, and they even have several moments that make no sense going through movie 2 and 3. If you're looking at it like Neo is the one, the red pill woke him up into the real reality, it doesn't make sense, and that's why so many people end up hating the Matrix after movie 3, just like I did. I got annoyed by it. I thought, this is ridiculous. The problem is this theory not only backs itself up with a lot of evidence from the movies, it also explains movie 1, movie 2, and movie 3, and it makes them a good movie. If you take those loopholes that we thought were in the Matrix, and all of a sudden they have a basic explanation because you looked at the entire thing wrong, it actually becomes a good movie again. So anyway, I want to tell you how YouTubers have warped out the idea of the red pill, and in doing it, have committed one of the most ironic mistakes that we've seen in a long time. Here we go. So we just got done watching this, and you saw that Mr. Thompson was holding a blue pill and a red pill. Let's read this article. Let's talk about it for a minute and see if I can change your mind. I bet you most of you are going to want to go rewatch. If you haven't heard about this, most of you probably, well, some of you have probably heard about it. Those of you that haven't, you're probably going to want to watch rewatch The Matrix, and when you do, you might end up feeling a lot different about it by the end. In a good way. There is a crazy Matrix theory that proves Neo isn't the one. Now, what's weird about the title here, it proves it. It does. It literally proves it. Let's go. The folks over at IO9 have revived the Matrix theory that may prove that Neo actually wasn't actually the one, and it was his nemesis, Agent Smith. The theory outlines why Smith might have actually been the secret hero of the story. Now, here it is. This is Neo taking the red pill. He eats it, and as he's looking at his body, he sees this, like, liquid code cover him up, and he wakes up out of this whole trip he just went on, and he's inside of the pod. He disconnects himself from the pod, and then they pick him up. They pick him up from where he gets dumped out of the Matrix machine, right? First of all, the Oracle says that the One is a man born inside the Matrix, but Neo was born in one of the human incubators the machines use to harvest energy. That is a fact. In the first film, the Oracle describes the One as a man born inside the Matrix, which means Neo can't possibly be the One. Very true. Agent Smith, however, was born inside the Matrix. And he, like Neo, could change anything that he wanted inside the Matrix. We also learned from the architect in The Matrix Reloaded that the One is the person who will return to the source and reload the Matrix. The job of the One is to return to the source and reload it. And as you know, at the end of the Matrix Revolution, Smith fuses himself with Neo, who's plugged into the source in the real world, so that technically it's not Neo that reloads the Matrix, but Smith. It makes so much sense if you look at it from this way, because it didn't make sense before. And when you think about it, the Oracle never tells Neo that he's the One. For instance, the 9 times that she said that to him, and we're all like, that doesn't make sense. This movie's falling apart. What do you mean Neo's not the One? Remember their first meeting in the movie, she straight up is like, nope, you're not. I'm the One. Sorry, kid. But when she meets Smith in the last movie, their interaction is so mysterious and weird. You're a bastard. You would know, Mom. Smith called the Oracle Mom might mean that she created him for the very purpose of fulfilling his destiny as the One. Which means that she tricked everyone into thinking that Neo was the One. Now remember this, you played a very dangerous game. Change always is. The dangerous game was lying to Neo, lying to Morpheus, lying to everyone, letting the Matrix, letting Agent Smith get so incredibly powerful in the end of the movies where he almost destroys everything so that she could destroy him. She was just this far away from Smith being so powerful that he destroyed it all. So that he could bring Agent Smith what he needed to force him to reload the Matrix. All of which implies the Oracle tricked everyone into believing Neo was the One so that he would bring the source to Agent Smith, forcing the reload that they needed. So basically, Neo might not be the One, but it's fine because none of this is real anyway, and we're all plugged into the Matrix right now. Now, the thing is, if you watch the the video that explains this from film theory, one, you are going to have to deal with Matt Pat's annoying voice, but if you can get past it, let me just type Matrix so I can get the actual video up. You could go on YouTube and watch this video. The film theory, Neo isn't the One in the Matrix trilogy. The problem is, when he explains it, he uses, I'm not going to play it. I probably could play good chunks of it in fair use, and I just don't want to. If you haven't seen this video, and 10 million people have, so most of us probably have, you would know. If you've seen it, you would know what I'm talking about anyway. But what I'm saying here is, if you do go through and notice all these proofs that's laid out in the video, and there's several videos on this, and almost all of them are really good. If you go and watch this, you have to think back to the red pill and the blue pill. Now, let's go through it. In the original movie, if you think that Neo's the One, as we all did, because we all saw the movie when it was in theaters. I did, and I had the tape and everything up until the second one came out, right? It was really big back then. So we all saw the first one and were locked in our heads to look at every one of the movies like Neo's the one. It proved it in the first film, right? Anyway, in the first film, he's offered the red and the blue. He takes the blue, the movie doesn't happen. He just stays in the Matrix and keeps going to work every day and dies an old man. Take the red one, you get ejected from the Matrix, and you're going to try to fight and free people and beat the machines and save humanity. Now, if Agent Smith is the one, which he has to be if you look at the evidence inside of this video and the others about it. If Agent Smith is the one, provably he is, what's the red pill and what's the blue pill? The blue pill would have put Neo back to sleep, let him stay in the Matrix, and they most likely would have ejected him anyway because they needed him, and they needed him to do what he was doing so that Agent Smith would go through the sequences of events he needed to go through to be defeated. If not, he would have remained all-powerful and destroyed the Matrix and became this, authoritative, crazy figure that just went and did whatever he wanted all the time and most likely killed all of humanity and the machines. I don't know. Anyway, but what is the red pill if Agent Smith is the one? It's a propaganda pill that lies to Neo, and it lies to everybody else, and it makes Neo run a new program. A program to convince him that he is a special person, the one, that he has these powers, right? It basically, what the red pill did was reload a different propaganda program for Neo. Neo thought he was going to work every day. He took the red pill and thought he was fighting the machines. But when he took the red pill in the actual proven Matrix that I'm talking about, they basically just run a different set of a Matrix for him to believe. He's locked in it the whole time. You get me? He's locked in it, interacting with Smith and leading to this thing. It was a lie. So in the movie, provably, in the only type of version of it that makes sense, the red pill becomes another piece of propaganda, another distraction. So now apply that to Nathan Thompson's use of it, like many other YouTubers use it, as if they're waking you up to something, right? He's waking you up to the flat earth. You're taking his red pill and waking up to the flat earth. But we all know you can easily prove that the earth is a globe. So what is the flat earth? It's just a big distraction. It's just a big lie. Compare that to all the other stupid conspiracy theories. Now, what's mostly taken over the red pill terminology are political conspiracy theories. Right around 2015 to 2016, with the election coming up, people that were doing political type of commentary and mixing politics into their YouTube stuff ended up using that Matrix terminology more than anyone else. So, if we look at what the red pill really was in the Matrix and how politics uses the red pill to wake you up to this new political realization, is Hillary Clinton really eating babies? Are they really doing what they're saying? Or is it just another red pill to get you to participate in a different fashion in the left-right paradigm of red and blue? You tell me. Either way, whether people, what people want to believe about the Matrix movie and how people want to use that in there and talk about it, whatever. Just a fun little theory. What isn't a fun theory and what is real, though, is the way that he acts in public. The fact that people send him money to support this is kind of disgusting, isn't it? At one point, maybe the guy was just trying to go around and discuss flat Earth with people. Let me pose one question to you, and then I'm going to go to D Live and stream. I'm going to head over to the after show on D Live. Do you think that maybe people like Jaron, Nathan Thompson, Nathan Oakley, maybe they act the way they do, the dishonest way they act, right? Calling every picture a composite, even if we can show them that it's not, right? not being able to come up with a single test. One of the things I think back to is during the Aaron Ra versus Jeranism debate, Aaron says to him, well, what if I can take you on a plane to Antarctica and literally walk with you across Antarctica to the other side, have you get in a boat with me and take you to where we need to go so that we can finally get everyone to shut up about the flat earth. That's what Aaron Ross said in 2017, or no, it was 2018. And I was waiting for Jaron to say, yes, if you do take me there, or you do this, or if you do that with me, if you take me into space, I don't know. I was waiting on him to say something and have him say that would prove that the earth is round so that I knew. And I would tell everybody and I would stop the flat earth nonsense. I was waiting on that to come from Jaron. But it didn't. Why? I like to think back to what Bob said. He said, I don't care if you prove that the earth is a globe to me. I'm still going to think it's flat. I think that's the one quote we could really apply to all these guys and really see the real truth here, right? Either way. I don't care if you believe it's globe or flat. If you're in public and you're acting like this, something is very wrong. And why did my what happened there? Why is my stuff in twice as fast speed? I don't care. Anyway, if you're in public acting like this, you've already lost.
My teeth out if I started recording him. So I got my dog with me. You want to attack me? You want to attack me? Go ahead.
He wasn't a NASA. You haven't proven that he's a NASA employee. You're making assumptions and you're acting like an asshole. Y'all, make sure you hit the like button and the subscribe button for me. Consider joining the channel because it helps us keep producing. I'm going over to D Live. We're going to get a video done, and then we're going to chill, so thank you for hanging. It's dlive.tv/UniRockTV. I'm partnered there, so I have transcoding, which means you won't buffer. If you have a buffering issue, you can do the same thing there that you can on YouTube. You can click that little source button or that little cog and switch it to 480p or 720p if you have an issue with buffering or anything like that. So it's just they've got it cleaned up, and they've got it working really well now. So anyway, thanks for hanging with me. Appreciate you. I know we're streaming a little early. We've been streaming at like midnight for a couple hours. I'm going to try to roll it back earlier till we hit back to around 7 or 8 o'clock every night. I would like to stream earlier sometime. Who knows? Either way, we're going to do our member-only live stream tomorrow. We're going to release the debate video tomorrow. And www.paypal.me/Unirock if you want to support us. See you on D Live for the after show. You want to add anything to anything I just said, Busy? So true, bro. Tell Nathan Thompson that, man. That's some good advice.